Oh, this is a topic that I'm feeling right now because my little guy just started grade 1, so he's now gone all day long. Because, of course, we can't be with our kids all of the time, so we have to trust that they're going to be able to recognize when someone is acting inappropriately toward them or their friends on the playground, for example. And it's also a challenge, of course, to get them to open up about what's happening during their school day. So with that in mind, we turn to our parenting expert, Julie Freedman-Smith. Good morning,
Hello.
Julie. Oh, this makes me nervous, just sending your little guy off. Like, you feel like they're gone now, and what are they going to do out there on the playground and in the big world of life?
Right. And most of the time, they're going to be just fine.
They're going to be just fine, right? Okay, that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
But what can we do to help our kids recognize if there is some inappropriate behavior going on? What do we need to do?
Right, and so it depends. The inappropriate behavior could be a whole bunch of things. So is somebody hitting them? Is somebody hurting them? Versus is somebody inappropriately touching them?
Right.
And so that's a big picture. So we can always, as we're educating our kids from when they're very little moving forward, talk about the difference of touching between good touching, which is like somebody putting a nice hand on you or, you know, patting your back. Bad touching, which is hurting you, kicking, hitting, pushing, and secret touching, which is when people touch you and ask you to keep it a secret. And we need to tell our kids that there is no secret touching. If anybody asks you to keep a secret, you need to tell. But if it's somebody that's just hurting you, kicking you, punching you, that bad touching, that you need to say stop.
Okay.
And you need to go to an adult and get some help.
Okay.
So if we start talking to our kids about that when they're 3 or 4, then hopefully by the time they're off on their own, they have an understanding about that.
You could see how it would be confusing because, you know, I have 2 kids, and of course they roughhouse and they play and they hit and punch each other occasionally when they're roughhousing.
Sure.
And it's okay at home with your sister, but it's not okay on the playground with other kids.
Well, and I would guess that there's a line where it's not okay at home with your siblings,
exactly.
right? And so understanding where that is. And as parents, when our kids are having those interactions, and what 2 siblings are not wrestling from time to time, that's a really great time to say, when is this play fighting and when is this not play fighting?
Right.
And if 2 people are play fighting and one person thinks it's not a play fight anymore, it's not a play fight.
Okay.
So instead of us coming in as parents and saying, stop that, you 2, stop that, we need to give our kids the ability to say that. So, you know, is so-and-so hurting you? Yes. Then what can you tell him? So instead of the parents speaking for the child all the time, we need to encourage our kids to speak for themselves. The more that they're in the habit of doing that, and the more that they have the language to do that, that's going to help them to do that when they're on the playground and somebody's hurting them.
When they're away from us.
That's
Okay,
right.
wonderful. How important is it to get them to talk about what's happening at school during their day? Because I know what it's like. You pick the kids up from school. How was your day? Fine. What did you guys do today? Not
Nothing.
much. Exactly, right?
Yes.
So how do you get them to talk and maybe talk about something they're not totally comfortable talking about?
So the first thing is we can't bombard them with questions the moment they get in the car or the moment they get home.
Okay.
There's a real urgency often for parents, and our kids have been talking all day, and especially the quiet ones. There are some kids who love to talk when they come home, but the quiet kids have been talking all day, and they usually just need some downtime before they share. So dinner time is often a good time to connect with our kids, and just watching to see what's going on, how are you doing. I wouldn't ask this every day, but every so often you can check in and say, do you feel safe at school? You know, how are you feeling about school? Do you feel comfortable? Who's the adult you could go to if you needed any help?
Oh, that's a good
one. So, because sometimes they won't say, but you can go around it.
Okay. I've tried that question. So, who are you playing with on the playground? Or who are you playing with at recess? What's that like? What do they like to play with?
That works. But if there's a problem, friends, I don't know.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So
should we be aware of those short one-word answers and maybe try to go around and probe a little further?
We can, certainly. Sure. And parent-teacher meetings have been happening, and it's always a great idea to go in and chat with the teacher and see how things are going. And if you have a question, email or call your teacher in whatever way they want to be approached. I'm just asking them to check in.
Wonderful. Great tips. Thank you so much, Julie. Always wonderful advice from Julie this morning.